Welcome to another edition of ECAC Hockey Decision Makers. Great to be joined by Colgate head coach Steph Decosseto. Steph, welcome aboard.
Thanks, Pierre. Absolute honor. Can't wait to dig in here with you.
Yeah, I'm pumped to have you on. Let's just cut right to it. What was it like when you got the call to be named head coach at Colgate University?
Surreal, and Coach Fargo was one of the first to tell me. It was a very special moment. I was driving and as you know, I'd been here. This is my 10th season here, and my wife and I are fully embedded in here in Hamilton, New York, with the three little ones, and to get that call, to get the nod, to really truly get your dream job. It's one of those moments in life, and they happen not overly often, but they happen. And that call was a very special call. It's really, really neat.
Well, you hit the ground running. Your team's having unbelievable success. You're first in the ECAC. You've dominated most of your schedule this year. What did you have to do to find your voice to go from assistant to head?
Yeah, that undoubtedly that's been adjustment for all, really, and they're two entirely different roles, and both very important, but two different roles. And I think, and having spoken with various different other head coaches that also have made that transition, what became evident early in those conversations is the word authenticity continually came up. And so it was my charge, my mission to be entirely myself and to be authentic and unforgiving about that. And that's sort of how I jumped in. And it certainly helps when you have incredible people in and around you helping you out. Our staff here is exceptional. It's world class. From the coaching staff to the director of ops, strength coach, athletic trainer, my sports admin, just such incredible people. And to be gifted the team that we have here, again, outstanding individuals that are entirely devoted to their crafts. And so certainly made for a bit of a softer landing. Not to mention I'd been here for 9 years previous. So I knew, you know how to navigate the institution and the village of Hamilton here. So, just leaning on those around me and being entirely authentic to who I am and try to go from there.
One of the things I know about you, you're an elite recruiter. You're plugged in all over the world, not just in North America, not just in Eastern Canada. I'm talking about everywhere. What do you do when you're the head coach? You can't always have your finger on the pulse of all that. Yeah. Are you comfortable delegating, giving up that recruiting responsibility?
I had a great gut to, it's a tough transition, Pierre. It is. You go from, going from weekend to weekend. You're up in Nova Scotia, you're in Wilcox, Saskatchewan. You're out west in Kelowna, British Columbia. You're up in Toronto. You're in Chicago, and you build such an incredible community, as you know, being on the ground and having feet on the ground, and it truly is a community. And I certainly miss that component to the job. Now, when our season ended November 30th, I was out there. I was in Kitchener. I was in Wilcox. I was getting after it. I had that itch. It's a challenge in a way. It's new, right? Anything new is going to be a bit of a challenge as you get going. But, when you have an incredible staff that that you can entrust and lean on, it certainly makes it easier. And when you're an assistant, the way I like to see it is like you have your lane, right? And recruiting was a big part of a big responsibility of mine. And as a head coach, you're now managing 4 or 5 lanes and helping and developing people. And so that's in and of itself a new challenge that I'm rolling up my sleeve and embracing. But I'd be lying if I didn't say I miss the barns. I love being in those barns and being in and around that community and identifying players and seeing what, our game is growing at an incredible capacity. And, the 98 birth year compared to the 2008 birth year, like it just keeps getting better and better. And it's incredibly exciting. And when you're on that front lines and you see it firsthand, you fell in love with it. It's great.
It's interesting. You use the term barn. And I had also heard you refer to Wilcox twice, Wilcox, Saskatchewan, place that I know very well, place you know very well. Do you have a favorite Wilcox story?
Oh, I love Wilcox.
Notre Dame in Saskatchewan, for those who don't.
Yeah, so they host a tournament. It's called the Manny Schwartz annually, the first or second week of December. And It's a true Canadian hockey experience. And as you know, Pierre, from North Vancouver, British Columbia, played my junior hockey in Trail in the Kootenays. Very historic tradition there in the Kootenays. And I just have a real deep appreciation for the grassroots of our game. And, you land in Regina, you take 3 right turns and drive straight for 40 minutes, and you're in Wilcox, Saskatchewan. And, and I guess there isn't one memory. It's the experience that I remember, and the drive and the rink and the community, the camaraderie, the concession, the canteens are different. The fries are phenomenal. The burger in Milestone, Saskatchewan, Pierre, is elite. It's elite.
I love it.
It's
bringing back so many good memories for me as you say this. I mean, I spent a lot of time out there in my day.
That's right.
I miss it. I miss it a lot.
Yeah, I get that. So it's just a wonderful experience. And as I mentioned, I keep going back to the community that you shape while you get out there and recruit. And it's just there's not one memory. It's just the experience of the various different times I've been out there. A lot of fun.
I'm glad you brought up Mandy Schwartz. She was a young lady that played at Yale University. I didn't know Mandy, but I knew her brothers really well. One of them, obviously, Jaden. First time I met Jaden was at the World Junior in 2009. Actually, it was a summer camp in Newfoundland. He made the team. He was a first-round pick of St. Louis. Now he's a star, obviously a Stanley Cup winner. But I'll never forget the news when Mandy passed away. And Jaden actually started wearing her number when he played in St. Louis. So It was something that, as soon as you said that resonated with a great hockey family, and obviously hugely tied into the Notre Dame community in Wilcox. So you talked about your time in Trail. There's nothing like the BCHL. I'm a huge fan. My son played in the BCHL in Penticton, one of Trail's rivals, as you know. How does a kid from North Vancouver, I should say, end up, I know in Trail, obviously, because it's part of the fabric of hockey, and then Geneseo State? How does that happen?
Yeah, bit of a circuitous route there. I tried out for Trail. So I played my first year juniors with the Richmond Sockeyes with the great Ron Johnson as my head coach. And then from there, I tried out for the Smokies, and the new head coach with Trail was Tim Keller, who previously was an assistant with South Surrey Eagles. And I tried out for them the year before I played for Richmond. So he had an idea who I was. I went up there and had a good camp, but I was the last cut there for Trail that year. Tim recommended I live nearby and play for Beaver Valley for the legendary Terry Jones. We had Terry Jones there, and Hank Deadmarsh, Adam's father, was the GM. Wonderful hockey man. And so I played a year there. I played a year junior out of high school. So I was a 19-year-old rookie in the BCHL for the Trail Smoke Eaters. The following year, had just an incredible experience. I mean, I lived in Fruitvale actually for all 3 years. My time in the Kootenays there, about 50 minutes outside Trail. But I absolutely love my time in Trail. You said it, part of the fabric. 2-time world champions in 39 and in 61, and just it was a community-owned team at the time, which Powell River and Trail were the only 2 community-owned teams in all of the BCHL, which means there's a board of locals that oversee the team, and just such immense pride in that team. And we'd go to the Colander. You ever hear of the Colander, Pierre?
I've heard of it. I have not been there. I've heard of it.
It's the Italian restaurant in town that's been there since forever. And it just, what an incredible experience. From there, I started having some conversations, and Division I didn't work out for me. So, I wanted to go somewhere that valued hockey and the program and provided a great experience. And Geneseo was just that. Wonderful time, electric environment. They had the pep band, sold out crowds. It was a blast. It was a wonderful experience, and I really enjoyed it. It's the hockey journey takes you a lot of different places, and you meet such incredible folks along the way. And Geneseo was a stop just like the others in that regard.
Do you ever have a chance to run into the Tambellini family in Trail? They're just a legendary family there. I obviously know Steve really well, and I know his son really well from the 04 World Junior, and also from his time being in the NHL. He's scouting for St. Louis for Seattle right now.
Yeah. I bumped into Jeff a couple summers ago, introduced myself. My brother played with Jeff growing up. So Jeff's 2-3 years older than I am, and he grew up playing in the Port Coquitlam area. And then he went off from there. He lit up the BCHL. I believe he played for
Michigan.
Harvey Smil there.
Yeah.
Did he play for Harvey Smil with the Chilliwack?
The Chiefs. Yeah, he did.
And then, and so I knew of him, and I obviously, Steve, the Tambellinis are legends in the Trail Kootenay area. I believe Steve's father may have played for the Senior Smokies back in the day.
Correct.
Yeah. So I don't know him personally, but you don't spend time in Trail and not hear that name.
So let me ask you, star players all over the ECAC women's side, obviously. Is there one young lady that's really stood out to you from anywhere in the league? I have my own choice. I'm not going to ask you to take a choice from your team, but I'll just say Haley Wynn.
Yeah.
Fair?
I think fair, very fair. Haley is a tremendous athlete. She's a tremendous athlete and an incredible team player, a leader, a spiritual leader. She's consistent. What a puck mover. She moves pucks. She can escape pressure. She has just such a consistent impact shift to shift. And when you couple that with being an exceptional individual and an incredible team player, that's a pretty special makeup right there. So I think you hit the nail on the head there, Pierre.
I love coming to Colgate when my son was playing there because I had a chance to visit with you more times than not. And I just loved our brief little quick discussions, whether it was inside the rink or outside the rink. It's a magnificent facility. But one of the things I know is the intense pride you have about Colgate hockey. But I also think you respect what's going on in the ECAC.
Yeah. On
the women's side in particular. What is it? Why are the women in the ECAC dominating nationally? Why is that happening?
There's, Doug Dura about 4 or 5 years ago, I believe Cornell was hosting the ECAC championships. And so they finished first, they hosted an ECAC championship, and he won coach of the year. And he went up and he had a speech, and it always stayed with me. He said, "Hey, thank you to all of you who make us better, because of how hard we all work, and we're on the road and we're recruiting and we're on top of it, and it's hyper competitive, but it rises the tide for all of us," was really where he was going with it. And I think that's as true as it's ever been. This league is blessed to have such incredible people running programs that take women's hockey and take their jobs incredibly seriously and get after it, frankly, and are pushing the envelope and trying to find novel ways to gain a competitive advantage. And all that does is fuel the fire. I hear something going on, it's like, let's go. How can we go a different route to it? And it's all part of the fun of it. It's what makes it a lot of fun. And we play an incredibly competitive league, and our league has shown that we can compete nationally with anyone. And we take immense pride in that. And I think it's a testament to the players as well as the coaches, all head coaches, assistant coaches, director of ops, administrators. It's a real testament to all of us.
The man you replaced, Greg Fargo, is working in the PWHL. Does that give women from Colgate a little bit more of an advantage toward advancement into the PWHL?
I think certainly there's always a bit of that. You see that with the other various hockey bodies, whether it be USA Hockey or Hockey Canada. It's there's a natural bias that I would imagine doesn't occur, whether it's intentional or not, Pierre. But we hope that the work and the immense energy and passion we put into development on the day-to-day here is what helps our players elevate to that next level. That's our primary focus, is positioning our players to continually improve here within the program from year to year. And by the time they leave, they're reaching the capacity of their potential and their talent, and they're ready to take a stab at the PW and international play.
I loved watching your teams practice. You know how much time I spent around the rink when I was up there, whether it was for the guys' team or the ladies' team. I just enjoyed being at the rink, watching you practice. Why is it so much fun for the Colgate women to play? Because I've never seen the women leave the rink without a smile on their face.
We want the rink to be a destination. Really appreciate that. And you're not wrong, Pierre. You'd always be up there top row with a toque on, taking it in like a true hockey guy. Love it. And, for us, we want the rink to be a destination. our players, all players within the ECAC, they have great academic institutions. They have a lot going on in the Hill. When they come down here and come to play, we want it to be a destination. We want things to be not light and fun and airy, but competitive and focused, and through that, a lot of fun results from those things. And we take practice incredibly serious Monday through Thursday. That's our opportunity to have a real impact and influence things on the ice. Friday, Saturday belongs to players. We really we love practice. I love practice. I loved it as a player, love it as a coach. Just love being at the rink and on the ice and having that banter and competing and seeing what emerges from that compete and effort and focus is special. It's a lot of fun.
Well, you talk about focus. Your team's in first place right now in the ECAC. Obviously, a huge weekend, home weekend coming up for you with Clarkson and St. Lawrence. How do you prepare your ladies for this weekend?
Yeah, I think it's always, you want to be internal. You want to continue to look internally to what we can refine moving forward within our gameplay. There's always going to be areas for us that we want to dial in a little bit more than others, and you got to take your opponent into consideration, undoubtedly, but we truly believe in our primary focus being on ourselves and how's our game, how's the way we want to play, are we connected, where do we need more synergy, what do we need to water and practice this week, and we'll look at the numbers and we'll track various different things and ensure that benchmarks are being reached. But if they're not, we have a good sense of where we need to roll up our sleeves and kind of break down and build back up.
I'm so pumped for you because I've seen how hard you've worked to get to where you are. They took you, they threw you in the deep end, they didn't give you a life jacket, and all of a sudden you're swimming laps around everybody else. I need to know, how'd you make it look this easy?
Well, it's not easy at all. It's not easy, Pierre. I appreciate you saying that. I mean, we have an incredible team. The makeup of our group is exceptional. They play for one another. They stick together through thick and thin. And there's been various moments of adversity that have popped up on the radar. And really, it's a so what, now what type of mentality. It's not a poor me. It's, hey, what do we got to do, guys? How do we got to come together? What's the objective? Let's go and do it. We can do it. And that coupled with the fact that it's not lost on me, right? The person I watched do it before I was sitting in this chair, Greg Fargo, a really close friend of mine, and I saw him do it for 9 years, and there aren't many that do it as well as him. He's a true friend and a true gentleman, and has such a love for the game and his players, and I just learned so much from him, Pierre. And being around hockey and all the different personalities and the characters, you pick up so much, and it's such an incredible community. And Greg is a special friend of mine, and I feel privileged and honored to have had the opportunity to watch him do it for so long. No different than Chelsea Walklin and Sophie Leclaire and Josh Skiba, and the list goes on. And just such incredible people. And you take a little something from everybody. There's always something to learn, and so that's kind of the approach.
I love that mentorship part of it. I love the fact that you actually relate to that, Coach, and how much it means to you.
Yeah.
You don't have to give names. Are you mentoring other people right now yourself? Because clearly you're on the right path.
I am, I think, well, I like to think I am, at least. You'd have to ask those folks if there's any impact, but it's about giving to the game. And Ron Johnson, he coached me at the Richmond Sockeyes. He's an incredible man. He's been involved in the game and attached to it forever. And I only played 1 year for him, but he had an immense impact on me. And I saw him 3 years ago. I was recruiting an event at his rink, and I bumped into him. I'm like, Ronnie, how you doing? And we sat down, we had a cup of coffee, and he found out I was a coach, and he said to me, Steph, I always knew you loved the game, and I always knew you'd give back to the game. And that's what it's about. And so any opportunities to give back to the game in any capacity possible is something that, I jump at and just, I think it's what makes our sport so special.
Well, I hope I see you around the ring soon, Coach. I can't wait to cover the playoffs and be around all the great women players in the ECAC. You're a huge part of what's made or helped make this league so successful. I'm so proud of you. I'm so happy for you. Have a great time with the rest of the season. Looking forward to seeing your success in the playoffs. And Thanks so much for being part of this ECAC Decision Maker segment. It's been great. Thank you, Steph.
Pierre, I can't thank you enough. Everything you've poured into this game, into our league, our sport. Thank you. The honor's mine, and just appreciate everything you've done. Really enjoyed this.
The Hamilton Inn on me the next time I'm in Hamilton. How's that?
You got it. I'll be there.
Thank you. Thanks, Coach.
Thanks, Pierre.